Welcome to the Cutting Edge Convention, a worldwide movement to revolutionize your life. No more stumbling around in the dark, wasting precious weeks, months, and years trying to figure it out on your own. Get ready for valuable innovations and strategies. And now, here's your host, Marcy Peters, the Age Backward Mentor.
Hello and welcome to the Cutting Edge Convention. I'm your host, Marcy Peters, the Age Backward Mentor. I help smart, successful men and women just like you step into a life they love and a body they love being in. Today, I want to introduce you to someone really special, and her name is Kirsten Asher. Let me tell you about Kirsten. She is a dancer, speaker, and facilitator of workshops that encourage women to get back into their bodies by unleashing their primal femininity. That sounds so cool. Through movement and understanding their dash, and we're going to talk about what dash is. She believes that everything we go through in life can be seen as a lesson to learn from. There is no excuse big enough to have regrets. And Kirsten is a special friend of mine. She's a really important person in my life. And so I'm so thrilled to have you here. Hello, Kirsten.
Hello, thank you for having me here. I'm so excited and stoked.
Yes, awesome. All right, so we're going to talk about how to access your inner strength. And but first, I want to ask you, how did you get involved? You know, you're a dancer, speaker, facilitator. How did all that come about?
It came about just from my own experiences of kind of understanding where I was and where I was mentally and physically. And I just had a few things happening in life that, you know, one stacks upon another, and upon another. And I felt a little lost and confused and not like myself. I feel like I went away from who I really was, and it took a little bit to find that again. And I went back into my roots, which was dance, and started getting my body moving again, and realizing how much of the masculine energy I was in, and really diving into the masculine and feminine energy and trying to understand those, and realizing that I was stepping into the more assertive role and thinking that that's where I needed to be. I needed to be the strong, independent woman to get things done. And the more and more I opened up my body and got back into dance and movement, it just made me feel so good and so feminine and just alive again. And that creative energy was flowing. And I took other classes, and then I was just watching other women as they moved, and the people in my life, how they were showing up in their life. Or mainly the women, how they were showing up in their life and how they felt they needed to be this strong, powerful, you know, take no bullshit type of thing, and not really opening themselves up to that, like that nurture, that creativity, that really amazing energy. So I just wanted to take dash and what that was and kind of embrace that women femininity and the feminine energy. You know, that of course men and women both have that energy. But I wanted to help women kind of get in touch with that and be able to connect with their bodies more through that, and get out of their head and into their body. And I feel that dash and, you know, this whole path and this journey can get you there.
Thank you so much. You know, as women, it's so important that we're in touch with our feminine energy. Sometimes we need to be in our masculine energy. And when we're only in masculine, it really stops us, and it really keeps us from getting into our creative flow, and that flow in life, which is very feminine energetically. So I love your idea of using dance to facilitate that. And I've seen you dance. You're an amazing dancer. And I know you'll be in some videos that are coming out and this sort of thing. So what I want to ask you, what is dash?
So dash, if you think about it on a bigger scale, it's that little dash that's in between the two dates of the day you were born and then the day you leave the earth. So it's that little dash that we see so much, but it means an entire lifetime of things. You know, it's what you do with your life. It's the people who come in and out of your life. It's your journey, your experiences, how you decide, how you choose. It's It's everything you do in this little tiny dash. And there's so much to it. And sometimes we forget that we have this journey, we have this experience, and it's open to us, and we can create those opportunities for ourselves. But we just get really stuck in the mundane sometimes, or we just get really stuck in going in one direction. And so Dash it's kind of a platform to help you think differently. What I write about and what I speak about and do little videos about is maybe opening up a different way of thinking, or another thought that you never thought in that way. Yeah, Dash is, thank you.
Yeah, so it's like what you see on tombstones, like a year and then dash and then another year, birth and death. That's such a fascinating way to think about it. And, all this stuff happens in between. And so I know you have some tips for us today about how to really be accessing that greatness within that we all have. So let's talk about that. What's the first one?
The first tip is where you spend your time mentally. And a lot of us, and I know this was something that I struggled with as well, where I would either be too far in my past and thinking about a conversation I just had, or a way I could have done something better, or an interview, or a job, or somebody I spoke with, or maybe even it was a confrontation, that I was like, I should have done it this way, or I could have done this better. And you spend so much time thinking about how you could have done something better. But in reality, that's not going to change. That's the past. So why live there? The only thing, in my opinion, that you should be in the past is thinking of good memories. Why think of the negative memories when you can't change them? There's no reason for it. So stop and visit your past for those amazing, awesome memories that just energize you, and they get you going, and they make you feel good. Spending time with you is a good memory, or spending time with your family, or doing having a vacation or something like that. Think of that, and that's something that puts a smile on your face. And another part of that, on the opposite end, you have some of us who think too much into the future, in more of a worry type way, where it's like, oh my gosh, I hope I have enough money. What am I going to be doing 5 years down the road? Yes, it's good to plan, but when we stay so far into the future, we're missing what we're doing here. You could be with a group of friends, you could be with your family, you can be doing something and having this really cool experience, but you're too far in the future thinking about the money coming in, or if you're going to be able to pay bills, or the next job you want, or how you're going to get from A to B. And of course, like I said, it's good to plan, but plan and leave it. And be in the present, because that's going to be your action. If you're in your past or your future, you're not taking action. So it's being present in that time. And I know there's a lot of people who say, be present, be in the now, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and just be in this moment. And I mean that with everything of my heart. There's times where you'll be in a conversation and you're looking at somebody, and you can see they're looking at you, but you can see their mind kind of trailing off. Drives me nuts. And I've done that too. And I used to do that often. And now that I've come into this space where I have a more realization of my alignment and what really makes me happy and where I'm going, I have my little plan of where I'm going that I think will be awesome, and it will probably change, because that's just life. And open to the flow, and open to however, whatever comes into my life and whatever changes. And it's just being okay with that, being there, and coming back to the moment, enjoying those conversations, and really listening and hearing that person. You can listen to somebody, but unless you're actually hearing them and having everything that they are saying soaking in, whether it's a lecture, whether it's a convention that you're going to and you're listening to speakers, or a conversation, or just being with yourself. And sometimes people are afraid to go out by themselves. They always need another person there, but it's being in that moment with yourself, and just realizing, your senses are alive. The wind on your skin. I mean, it sounds so woo woo, but just being so happy, being in a place by yourself or with somebody, and just experiencing that. It's just so cool. And it goes times 10 when you're present. And so that's one of my tips, is just to visit your past only for good memories, plan your future, but allow it to be flexible enough to flow, and really be coherent of staying in the moment. And when you start trailing off into the future or the past, kind of bring yourself back and, and think of something that's going to bring you into that moment.
Yeah.
Whether it's watching the birds or in the sky or just saying something that you're grateful for in the moment. It turns it around so fast. It just flips it and you're there.
Yeah. This is so powerful. This concept is really simple, but so powerful because we only get one of this moment just once, and then the next moment and the next moment. So I love this idea. And, that's the whole point of meditation, is training yourself to really just stay present. Your mind will go, you bring it back, and then it goes again, and you bring it back. And so that you can start to do this in your normal life. I mean, not so that you can meditate all the time and seclude yourself, but actually so that you can be walking through life, having that present moment again and again. So I love that. Thank you. Let's all take a nice deep breath. To me, that's, the breath is my facilitator of staying right here, right now.
Good. That's a good one. I like that. I'll have to use it.
Yeah. So what's your second thing?
The second thing is what I call the 10-80-10 system, or, just 10-80-10 for short. But what it breaks down to is it's kind of on that same scale of by 3. I think I have a thing for 3s. And the first 10% of it, and it's in percentages, the first 10% of it is kind of what you want, what you desire. I want that job. I want this amount of money. I want this house. I want this type of lifestyle. And that's only accounts for 10% of what life truly is. And then on the flip side over here, you have that vision and what it actually looks like. So that goes into putting yourself there in that visual board or vision board, and thinking about what it feels like to be there and being in that moment and really painting that picture and creating that environment. And so you can easily go there, because if you don't know where you're going, how do you know to get there? It's kind of like taking a vacation to Paris. You can say, oh, I want to go to Paris. Well, are you just going to go and fly there and not know what to do? Or are you going to plan it out and say, I'm going to go to the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to go to, Florence. I'm going to go to Paris and all these different areas. You have to kind of plan something out, and you have to visualize it, and you have to know where you're going. But then this big chunk in the middle, that's that whole 80%. And that's everything. That accounts for almost everything, because it's the full action step. It's the doing. It's okay. You want to fly to Paris, or you want to create this life. You want to have this type of career. Well, what are you going to do? What are the steps that are going to take you there? And a lot of people, I feel, they get kind of stuck in the wanting and the desiring, and either not feeling that they can get there because there might be a confidence issue, or there just might be too many barriers that they think are there, and they're not willing to take those action steps. Or they say, I want the house, or I want the career, but they don't exactly know what that looks like. So you don't exactly know how to get there. If it's a house, well, what are those action steps? You need to see how much it is, take those steps into saving and how much you're going to need to save, and planning and actually doing that. So this 80% is the biggest chunk, and it's everything that you do to get you there. But it's also important to have, what you want and what it looks like.
Okay.
It's a path. It's creating your path.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. So basically chunking that down into where you're spending your energy, it sounds like.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Most of it should be spent doing. And a lot of it, just to add one more thing to this, is so many times people talk about manifesting, and that's amazing. Mm-hmm. Manifesting is awesome. But you actually have to do something too. And I feel a lot of people forget that. They just say, okay, I feel this money in my life. I feel this person in my life, or how my life should be. And I'm feeling it. I'm envisioning it. I want to bring it into my life. But then they open their eyes and they're just like, okay, going on with my life. That will happen. but you also need to do something to it. It's kind of like you're meeting halfway.
Right. Actually create the path and take the action. And that's part of the manifestation process.
Yeah. And those opportunities will fall into your path as you go. You just, you take yourself from narrow, like we were talking about earlier, and you open it up with your peripherals. And the more you open up, and that's, could be the manifesting, the more you open up, the more opportunities fall into your path. And then you go with those, if they're in alignment and they're right for you.
Awesome. Okay, great. So that was number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's your third thing?
The third thing is to move, to get out there and do something with your body. Because so much of our world is sitting in front of a computer, or it's going from this place to this place in your car, and we're so stagnant, and then our energy gets stagnant. And if you think about it, the energy is all around us. It's not something that we can see, but everything, if you take one of those machines that shows you, those machines, I don't know what they're called.
I don't either.
You can see the different colors and the different energies that
right.
are just even in inanimate objects. And so it's all around us. And if you stay closed off and you stay in this moment of not moving, your body starts to not move, and it starts to just become kind of paralyzed, and your energy becomes paralyzed in a way. And then your creativity stops. If you don't have all this awesome energy going through and these new thoughts coming in, and you're just sitting here staring at a computer or sitting stagnant or just barely moving throughout your day, you're going to have a hard time problem solving. You're going to have a hard time remembering. You're going to have a hard time creating conversations because you're going to be so stuck in your head, or just a blank slate. Have some times where you're like, oh, I just can't think, or I knew that, but it just fell off my brain, or it was on the tip of my tongue. It's because that energy is just so stuck. But if you get out and you run or dance or move or do yoga or surf, I don't know, just whatever jazzes you up too. And it shouldn't be just going to the gym just to go to the gym, just because everybody says to do. What makes you happy? If you're a runner, go run. If you're a biker, go bike. If you're a surfer, surf, hike, do something outside in nature, even if that heals you, because I know that nature heals me. And just move at least like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes out of the day. It doesn't take that long. And you're kind of setting yourself up for your future self. And this is something that I actually kind of want to, if you don't mind, bring it back to the first point of being your present and future and past is when you plan, you set your future self up for success. So it's taking that back and that strength back and really doing something for yourself, which is giving back to so much more and giving back to yourself if you create that for yourself. I guess it kind of went back and forth on that, but it's just something I feel so passionately about, because there's times where I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just want to do something else. I don't want to prepare for this. But then I'll sit back down and I'll say, this is something I need to do, like taxes. I really don't want to do taxes, but it's going to set my future self up for success and, a refund and happiness coming back to me. So I might as well do it now and then reap the rewards later.
Okay. So your third tip was about movement. I could not agree more.
Yes.
It really just makes a big impact on, you mentioned creativity and energy flowing. We're all energy. And so getting that moving, and so it's not still, even if it means getting up and walking around a couple of times while you're working at the computer. So I love this. And this fits hand in hand with this amazing worldwide movement that you're creating. Could you tell us about that?
Yes, it's called the Slow Burn Method, Unleash Your Primal Femininity. So it's really getting into how the woman moves and how our bodies move. We're not straight up and, well, my body is, but as a woman, we're not just so structured. There's movement and there's flow within us. And if you look at some women, most women nowadays, like I said, that they're kind of going into that more structured, independent, aggressive type energy. Their bodies are kind of more stiff. And you could see it in yoga classes. You could see it at the gym. You could see even in dance classes. Dancers are like this too. Or if they're just taking just a fun workout class, you could see that it's just so stopped. And there's not a whole lot of feminine, body rolls or shoulders or any of that coming through. And so this is there to help women really connect with themselves and to get out of their head and back into their body. Mm-hmm. And it's something that I feel is so important. And it kind of goes back to the way I hear music is I hear music, how it moves my body. A lot of people hear notes, they hear the melody or the harmony, and I really don't know all the fancy terms, but I hear music of how it moves my body and how I kind of get into it. And, you could listen to a song and you're like, okay, this is good. And then another song comes on and you're like, oh my gosh, like I just have to move and just sway and feel it. And that's what this workshop is for. It's a workout, but it's slowed down. And it's really getting in and connecting to that feminine energy that all of us women have. Mm-hmm. And then within that workshop, it goes into, what came up for you? What are some blocks that you feel? Because some women would be uncomfortable, or maybe they feel comfortable and it's actually awakening something within them. And just to kind of go around and I ask, each person to kind of dive into it with us and go a little bit deeper. And then they realize that they're not the only person feeling that way. Somebody in the room has either felt that way or they're going through the same thing. So it's a connection to that community. And then, stepping outside of that and saying, now that you've done the movement and you've opened that creativity and we've gone a little bit deeper, where and how are you going to step up in your life? And that's coming in with that inner strength of, how you show up in your health is how you should show up in your relationship. How you show up in your finances is how you should show up in your sensuality and your sexuality. There should never be one column that's 100% and everything else is at 10%. If you're going to give to one, you should give to the next. And I feel a lot of times, especially nowadays, we are so focused on career and finances that we forget about the adventure of life. We forget about, connecting with our sensuality and connecting with relationships, and not even a lover, but friendships and those relationships with your family and people around you, even coworkers. How are you showing up and communicating? And communicating, we use words. Words are so powerful. You can say the F-bomb to somebody and it means something completely different than saying fudge, or like, oh crap, this just happened. Words are powerful, and how you use them to express yourself is very powerful. And so it's taking these women to the next step and actually diving in and saying, let's commit to just one thing that you're going to do in each one of these sections, and bring it all together community wide with that group of women. So it's, now they're actually saying it out loud and they're taking that next step. And then of course there's follow-up and whatnot. But it's just, and that adventure too. A lot of people I feel just kind of like, this is my life, this is what I'm doing. And we forget how awesome adventure is. Even if you're not an outdoorsy person, go brunch, go explore a new part of the city, go travel, go, make new friends, or build your network. I mean, all that is considered an adventure. It doesn't have to be putting on hiking boots and going camping. It's each person has their own type of adventure. So it's really stepping into that and being like, all right, I'm going to have fun. And fun is so good to have. Get out of being so serious and have some fun. So that's the part. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. So with the slow burn workshop, it sounds like you're combining transformation with movement, with reconnection to the body, and creating this amazing transformational experience for these women. And I know you're doing this around the country. And so the opportunities will come up regardless of where you live. So exciting. So
yes,
amazing.
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So, okay. So is there anything that you want to add to this conversation before we talk about where everyone can find you?
Gosh, I just think that is to just go back to really enjoying life and not being so stagnant and focusing on just the stuff that stressing you out, because that's easy to get your brain just in that mode, and then you just get sucked in. But really be conscious of pulling yourself out of that and having that fun and having those adventures and those experiences and really feeling what life is, because life is an adventure. Yeah. And it's so freaking awesome. And I love it so much. I want other people to feel how amazing and happy life can be. It's like, you don't have to be unhappy. There's no reason for you to be unhappy. There's always a way. There's always another way.
You're one of the happiest people I know, Kirsten. Actually, you're probably the happiest person I know personally.
Thank you.
It's so amazing. I love it. You have the best energy.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's your website and what are you offering?
My website is liveyour-now.com. And what I'm offering is, it's a short video to kind of get you open to the slow burn and open to that movement. And then it has some transformational questions in there to get you started of moving forward and actually stepping into that space and committing to yourself that you actually want to do this. And welcoming that happiness and that energy and that vibe into your body. And so that would be at liveyour-now.com/gift.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to have a link for everyone. Mm-hmm. So this is your starting place with getting that movement and that energy back into your life, especially as a woman, and reconnecting with your body and creating that transformation. And then please do keep your eyes out for the slow burn method, so that if it's near you or you can travel to go to one of these workshops, it's totally worth it and amazing. And and Kirsten's going to let you know after you get the free gift and you're part of her community. She can keep you posted on what she's up to, right?
Absolutely. And there's going to be a masculine one too, so all the men out there that will be coming soon. It's down the pipeline, but it's
no one left behind.
No. Gotta get that primal masculine too.
Yeah. All right, Kirsten Asher, thank you so much for being part of the Cutting Edge Convention.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And to everyone who's joined us today, I want to thank you and appreciate you for taking the time to up-level your health, wealth, and happiness and join us today. And I'm going to say goodbye for now and wish you a happy, healthy day. Bye.
Thank you for being part of the Cutting Edge Convention. We don't want you to miss a single valuable session. To have the entire event available to you at any time, purchase the package now before the event ends. That's when the price goes up. And watch your emails to get your next steps from Marcy.